Hold on. Um, what do you mean you have ended the broadcast? Um, are we back? Okay. I don't understand why it's saying that we are unstable at the moment. Let's see here. Yep, I think that's probably it. Because after a quick refresh on my end, we're perfectly fine still. And it says we are excellent with absolutely no drop frames. Okie day. Gotta love our, overlords and whatnot from Twitch and Amazon. Oh. Yeah, no. 100% fair. Okay, let's hit that pointed back in the right direction. And here. I mean, to be fair, that's the first time it's hiccuped like that for me in a little while. I don't exactly know why, but, we'll take it, I guess. Seems to be the day for trouble, it seems. But, sadly, what can you do? Oh well. But, Landon, I do hope that the rest of your day was at least enjoyable, or at the very least, somewhat relaxing. Let's see. Good. We'll take all right. Because once we're done with this, we'll spray it down with clear coat tomorrow. And then we'll move right along to our next little project that we're going to work on and hopefully get a good bit of progress on tonight. There we go. Good, that was good. You and you. All right. Okay, let's see here. Here we go, and last bit on this one. There we go. Okay. Come on, Brush. You can make it to the end of this project. As soon as it's over with, I'll give you your sweet release. But for now, just stay alive long enough to finish. What I'm most looking forward to, so there's a couple of things that I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the goofiness that always happens to me when I go to trinket trade with people. Because the first time I went, there were I was not prepared, and I had so many people come up to me to trinket trade with me, and then I went prepared, and nobody trinket traded with me at all that time on that outing. And then last year I had a couple of things, and they were I had some absolutely hilarious moments of trinket trading. But there's the trinket trade. There is we actually have a fighting pit at ours that allows you to pay a little bit of coin to go into, and you get to fight whoever else decides to. So I'm looking forward to that because I'm going to see if they will. Because it's an idea I've floated by them before that they need, if they're going to allow us into the pit, they need to allow us to, since you're charging me money to go into the pit, I should get a percentage of the pot if I win. And you guys only let people win like 2 or 3 times, and then they can't, compete in the pit anymore for that day. I think that would be fair. That way you don't have some, semi-professional fighter like me go over there and just run everybody's pockets every time they go over there. You let them fight, you call them a champion, you give them like a goofy little crown or something, and, they get to take their percentage of the pot, and then you turn them loose back into the park. That would be my business proposition for my Ren Fair. Is, hey, let me go over there, let me fight. You can either hire somebody else to be a professional fighter in the fighting pit so you can kick people out so they don't just hang out over there all day and ruin everybody's fun and take everybody's money. You can just have, one good professional fighter clear the board, but it would also give you a chance to earn a little extra coin while you're at the fair. Because, the minimum to get in is like $15 to $20 to get into that fighting pit. So you give me a percentage of $15 to $20 a person. Let's say I fight 5 people. I can walk out of there with, $30, $40 a fight. Which would be great because then, hey, I only paid $20 to make maybe 50 to 60. But now I can't use that for the rest of the time there. Bring the giant gummy flip. That would be absolutely hilarious to go in there and use that as a weapon. I should, but I don't have the flail. That was that is a gag that I will have to get you down here for one of the Ren Fairs, probably in the fall if they open it back up, and I will have to duel you with giant gummy worm flails. The battle would be goofy yet legendary. It would be so worth whatever horseshit and shenanigans I have to sit through after the fact. I would 100% pay to see somebody fight with a gummy flail. Though to be fair, those things do weigh like 2.5, 3 pounds. It's not going to feel great getting flopped with it. But 100%. I do kind of wish that I had like a GoPro-esque camera, because I would 100% like vlog the shenanigans that I would get up to at the Ren Fair. Maybe I should do that. Just that might be something I can put some thought into. is to go down and just kind of, because you don't have internet service at down there. Like as soon as you hit the gate, that's the last you're gonna have of service for the entirety of your trip. The gate and like one part of the parking space is where you have service. Everywhere else is just like an instant, immediate dead zone. So maybe I should, maybe I can do that as something for my little surprise later on in the summer. Maybe I can make that something. To kind of vlog the Ren Fair that I go to. That would be a blast, especially if I can get all of my insane friends. Well, I mean, it's funny because like a lot of people joke about it at this fair because I've actually met a few famous TikTokers who live around my area. There was one guy that I was watching all the time. The first time I went there, I met him. And I had no idea he was even going to be there. Because I did not think he was in my part of the South. I thought he was a little further down. But as it turns out, now he lives like 45 minutes or so from the fair. Which was awesome. He was a really cool guy. I got to sit back and talk to him for a little bit. But, yeah, the hilarity of it is just, I think the part that it is set up in was specifically selected because there is absolutely no cell service over there. So, like I said, as soon as you get into the parking lot, your service is going to get spotty really quickly. And as soon as you cross the threshold to the gate, it's almost like your phone gets hit with an EMP. You can still take pictures. You can still, take video. You can still do this. You can still do that. But you cannot make calls. You cannot receive text messages. It is just an instant cell phone dead zone. No, it's just as soon as you cross the threshold, it's almost like a miniature service EMP went off. Which is great if you go there by yourself. Terrible if you go there like I do with a group of friends who happen to have a very bad habit of getting separated. But yeah, no, it's very nice because, you don't have to worry about getting contacted or, like, oh, I have to answer the phone for somebody. No, you're going to get all your messages at once after you leave. Which is fine because usually anyone who, oh yeah, no, it is hilariously, that is when your call out game becomes hilarious. And you can't use the Hoya because everybody at the Ren Fair will immediately start mimicking you like they would at a furry convention. So what you have to do is you immediately come up with a safety stem before you go in. Just me and my friends have mastered the art. That and shortwave radios do work. As my military buddy immediately like, yeah, no, I got us some small shortwave radios so that we can, you get separated, we can at least check in on each other and tell each other roundabout where we are. It always works, but you will never find who you're looking for there. Yes, the Patrick Lee, you will probably find your people if that was your safety stem that you discussed in the parking lot. Me and my friends, unfortunately, because we're all wonderfully we're Spectrum Rangers is I guess the best way you could put it. Every single one of us have a different specific stem for who we're looking for. So as soon as we get there, and if any of us get separated, if I'm, say, looking for Josh, he has his own vocal call out stem. My military buddy has his own vocal call out stem. So yeah, we'll be able to find each other. But considering we all are going to have our gremlins with us, there's a little bit less likelihood that we're all just going to, hit the gate and disappear like we have done when it's just the adults. Oh yeah, you can't go wrong with safety stems. Especially if it's not necessarily a common safety stem. Which is why I said, the Hoya, it would work in the sense that you would get half the park screaming Hoya back at you. Whereas if all of a sudden I just hear, "How dare you!" just screamed out, I know that either somebody is starting a duel, which, hey, I want to see that anyway, or it's one of my friends who is arguing with a shopkeep in the funniest way so that we will all know that this shopkeep is giving my buddy trouble. It all works itself out in beautifully hilarious ways. As it should. Because I know last year I went wearing one of my phone masks, and my safety stem was just screaming "Witness me," because nobody knew what the hell I was talking about. And what it really was just on the car ride down, anytime we stopped at a red light, I would very slowly roll the window down and peek my head out while wearing said skull mask, and just wait for someone to look over and notice a skull staring at them on the road. It was quite humorous. I'm sure I gave more than one person a little bit of a heart attack. Especially if they weren't paying attention and their window was rolled down, and I would get their attention by screaming "Witness me" at them. All good things, all good things. I mean, it's okay. You gotta have a little bit of trauma while you're going out and about. If you don't, was it worth the trip out? Just a little terrorizing as a treat. Not a lot, just a little. Though I will, exactly. And not only that, they now have a story to tell. That, yo, bro, I was sitting in traffic, and this weird skull face dude just kept shouting at people to witness him. He was pretty fucking witnessable, though. It's fun. You gotta have a little bit of the whimsy before you even get to the land of whimsy. Okay. Really strange that guy was. Don't know why. Oh yeah, well, I mean, I could have chosen some more intricate words like be ye not afraid as I terrorize the locals, but this is one of the beauties is this is not necessary. It is local to me in the sense that I can drive there. It is not local to the point where people should know who I am, which makes it so much more fun. Because they will have no idea other than the fact that there's this weird Scully dude that just he's running around just having a blast. And I mean, he's at the Ren Fair, so good on him. But he's just weird about it, man. But also, I love walking around the Ren Fair because very similar to how it was at the conventions. I guess people don't expect a skeletal creature to talk to them. So getting people's reactions when they walk up and say, "Oh, hey man, I love the outfit," or "Dude, your head looks awesome," and I turn to them and speak to them. I think that is by far my favorite part of every outing because they do not expect my voice to come out of whatever it is I dress as. Which is probably my favorite in terms of the reactions. It's just like, oh my god, can I get a picture with you? Sure. But oh my god, you talk? Am I not supposed to? I find, I don't know why, but I just find that incredibly hilarious to me is that nobody expects me to talk back to them. Which I don't get because almost everybody at the conventions that I've been to who happen to also be Scullies, I hear them talking all the time. Most of them will start the conversation with me and then get confused when I talk back. Which throws me off even more because I'm like, wait, is there just some weird unwritten rule that I'm breaking? Because if so, dope, but at the same time, I'm confused. Why do you not? Why is it okay for y'all to talk, but not okay for me? So, yeah, that is probably my favorite part of any outing that I go to, be that conventions, be that Ren fairs and whatnot, is just getting people's reactions to the shenanigans that is me. I think that is probably my favorite part of all outings is just hearing people laugh and or point out that hey, whoever did the work on your mask did a fantastic job. Which of course I always shout out who the people who made my mask, because the regular bone masks that I have are made by a different artist, and I've loved their work for a long time as well. In fact, I found their work back on the olden days of Tumblr, and they just so happen to still be in business. But I've loved their creations for a long time, and I was thankfully able to snag a couple of their masks, and then of course the absolutely wonderful. Oh yeah, yeah. That surprisingly, Landon, that was my only social media for the longest time. I existed nowhere else except for good old Tumblr. I was there before the purge. I was there after the purge. And technically, I will not reveal the name of it, but it still exists. As I was going by a very, very different name at that time. But it still exists. You could find it if you were if you decided to sleuth hard enough, you could probably find it. Challenge accepted. Good luck. I wish you the best of luck in hunting that down and finding it, if that is what you wish to attempt to do. But sadly, that was before I was willingly just unapologetically being myself. So sadly, it's not as unhinged as it could have been. That was back when I was, still married. Welcome in, Oles. I hope you're doing all right tonight. How goes the? I know you said you have a viewing on Monday. I believe you said. I do hope that goes well for you, Oles. I really hate to hear of the situation that unfortunately your landlord seems to have put you in. If you want, oh, Sunday, okay. Well, then I hope it winds up being what you need and being a little bit better than what you currently have. Even if it's in just, minor ways. But I mean, if you want, I can maybe hop a plane and fly down, and I can have a word or three with your current landlord. I can get my cane through TSA. Just want to talk. Because I 100% agree it is BS what they're doing to you. Especially after, everything that you've already done. Like, for the most part, you and your roommates have been good tenants. The only issue they had is when they tried to move that young starting family out into the same area. But I mean, you guys handled that like the adults that you are, so I don't understand the thought process of them just creating more issues past just greed. And so I am just terribly sorry that that's what you're having to deal with, Oles. But hey, hopefully Sunday will wind up being more fruitful than you expect it to be. I've got my fingers crossed for you. I'll actually leave that how it is. We need to add more color to that one. That one's good. That one's good. This one. This one. Let me go a little more color. And then we can officially call this one good. Now, I'm hoping not. They're old. Hopefully, where this next spot that you go, hopefully it's the spot that you can wind up hanging around for as long as you want to. Not for only as long as they're willing to act coy about things. But I am 100% rooting for you. I've got my fingers crossed for you. Hopefully it'll wind up, if nothing else, it'll at least be something that you can use to get out of where you are now and then hit that final stepping stone to where you can be more permanently. Because, I mean, especially with everything that you've already done. Okay. Well, then I do hope that that winds up being good for you. I mean, in the city, that comes with its own, perks and cons at the same time, but the 30-minute train ride doesn't sound too bad. But I do hope that is shorter than it is longer. I mean, yeah, at least it's not driving, but I mean, I don't necessarily know how uh, driving works over where Ols is. Don't know if the Kiwis are good at driving or if they're not. I can hope that they are. I can at least, or at the very least, I can hope they're at least better than the drivers I have around here. Mm. Well, I do still hope it goes well for you, Oles. Okay. Wow, they canceled a bus line? Really? Seems rather odd. Most places don't usually cancel buses like that unless there's just literally nobody living in the area that could use it. Oh, there it goes. Ow. Well, then I'm definitely pulling for you there, Oles. Because, I mean, especially since you literally up and traveled halfway around the world to be able to go there. I hate to hear that, after the trial and tribulation of getting out there, that you're now running into all of these literally unnecessary problems. I'm sending you nothing but good vibes and the best of luck I can, Holes. Hey, brain cell or not, I do hope it goes well. Hopefully, Sunday will be fruitful in the best way possible. Light up that brass color a little bit. Keep a little bit of the brass color just because it doesn't actually look all that bad. Okay, let's add final colors. Yeah. Alright. Let us add our final splash of color here. And then I think we'll be able to call this one finished. Just a little more here and there. Okay. Actually, I like that. Alright. Okay. Thankfully, I think that's it. Because at this point, I do kind of just want this off my table. So that I have room to do other things. But, alright, let's get a good view of this. What do y'all think? Let's actually maneuver the camera up a little bit. What do we think here? Maybe bring it down into view a little bit better. But a full wreath of very, very colorful butterflies, as was requested several years ago at this point, which I am sorry that it has taken so long, but it is finished. I will hit it with a clear coat to protect the paint on it, and then we will go from there. So I will very happily deliver that to my former co-worker here very soon. Okay. So, that means we have a little bit more time to work on one more fun special project. Oh, Landon, since you were not here when I showed it, this is the dragon trinkets after they have been hit with a clear coat. So these should survive pretty well. If not, they won't be overly difficult to come back and touch up and repaint after the fair. Well, like I said, if not, a couple more hours of touching them up and messing around with the paint isn't going to kill me. Especially since now I can get on to some of my other pile of shame items. But we're going to work on one more thing that I plan to take to the Ren Fair with me. So I need... Where did that go? Silver and red. So, for those of you who are here with me, I would like you to meet Ald 2.0 in all of his wonderful skeletal glory.
I am the hype!
I love... I am the hype. You're absolutely right that he is. But I did get all of his jewelry, and Landon, if you do recognize the little crystal pendant that I picked up while we were in Salem, is now happily a part of his get up here. But we did transfer all of our jewels and jewelry to him that were necessary to do so. And he actually has his correct horns. I love it. I love it so much, but I do understand that from looking at him head on, they do kind of blend in. So, we're going to add a little bit of paint, and we're going to change that a little bit. So what we are going to do is we are going to silver cap the tips of his horns with my wonderful trusty silver paint. And then we are going to, underneath the ridges of his horns, run a little bit of red behind it, just to make them kind of pop out a little bit more. But I love my little skull boy. It has been many years coming to be able to get it to this point. And Aset, again, you killed it with bringing the design to life. So this, in a way, is my thank you to you, is I have actually brought your design to life. So that Ald can be here with us to absolutely continue to shenaniganize with the best of us. Hey, Aset, I honestly wouldn't have him if it wasn't for you and your wonderful artwork. It really is. And I mean, Muna did a fantastic job. She actually did. She did post when she got done with my head as her commission, and I know I sent it to you, Landon. I sent it to, I think, Aset and Cozy as well when it got done. So I was absolutely blown away by just how wonderful she had created my wonderful little Scully, but also the fact that she stayed so true to the design was just phenomenal. She did an absolutely fantastic job. Which you can, her commissions are always open, apparently. So if anybody has any want or even just wish to talk to somebody, Wolf Creations, WULF Creations, or she goes by Muna on her Etsy shop, which is also Wolf Creations, the same name. And she is absolutely wonderful and fantastic to work with. I am definitely not sponsored by her, but she has been an absolute blast to work with, both for both old 1.0 and now old 2.0, because she is also the one who did my original mask. So we're just gonna do a nice, as even as we can get it, little silver cap on each of the tips of his horns here, because that will help tremendously in terms of getting the horns to stand out a little bit more from the frontal view, because unfortunately they do blend in fairly well with the long kind of shaggy fur that I have. So this will be a nice way to kind of get them to pop a little bit more. But it is so there because I know I posted it to you, Aset, and I know I posted it to you, Landon. So you were correct in she did kind of redesign how she does all of her skull dogs, which explains why the heads do look a good bit different. But I mean, I absolutely love how this one has turned out, even with the differences. But yeah, it does seem that she kind of changed her base up a little bit with how she goes about doing them, which is perfectly fine. But they're like old 1.0, his ears were about a good 3 or 4 inches bigger. They are still posable, so I can still easily give him goofy floppy ears if I wish to, or just have them stand straight up like I absolutely love them to. The eyes did change. They're a bit more rounded as opposed to being a bit more angular like they were last time. But also because of where the horns sit on his head, because before the last time the antlers were here, directly above each eye. But because the horns are now back here on the back end of the skull, that actually allowed a bit more detail, as well as made the chaos symbol on the forehead a whole lot bigger, which I absolutely love because that was one of the main prominent designs that I decided on, was that he had to have that symbol. As I love my chaos symbolism. But also, I just love how, especially with the weathering, his the scarring over the eye is actually, it was in 1.0 as well, but it is like deep in the make of the mask itself, as well as his little Norse runes on the side of his face seem to stand out a little bit more in 2.0 than they did in 1.0. And I absolutely love that. Alright, so we're going to let that dry a little bit, and then I'll come back through with another couple of brush strokes to kind of even that out a little bit. Okay, now the tricky part is, how am I going to hold you while I do this? You know, probably should have gotten like a little mannequin head or something that I could attach him to, so that I could hold him and do this at the same time. But yeah, as you can see, the horns start way back here on the back of the skull to come forward, which I absolutely love. Alright, so let's see how we can do this. Okay. So far, looking pretty good. I know, unfortunately, with how I'm holding him, you can't really see the brush strokes that I'm doing, but I will turn him around here soon to showcase how the red is turning out. Also, I may just won't be able to shorten that chain actually. Not without tools. Okay. There we go. Making it as even as we can, or at least as good as we can get it for freehanding it. But also a little bit of imperfection here and there isn't necessarily a bad thing. That's also what I love about this paint is if you make a mistake, you still have enough time to touch up on it and fix it before it fully dries. But I also know that my hands aren't as steady as they used to be for this kind of heavy detail kind of work. So I know there's going to be some mistakes. But a little bit of imperfection gives it the character. And well, we all know I'm definitely not perfect. And I am very happy with that knowledge. Because that makes everything have a little bit more character to it. What some may see as a brush stroke that shouldn't have happened, you can turn around and make it into a feature. And that is just as important to the character as it is not. That paint was still a little wet. That's fun. because the red and silver look really good together. It's like they say, striving for perfection is one thing, but understanding that perfection does not exist makes life so much more manageable, so much easier. Like by all means, chase what makes you happy. Chase, that vision that you have of it in your head. But also understand that if you are happy with it, then it is good enough. Alright, let's flip you into a sun angle. So yeah, I can get the weird angles that most people probably wouldn't care about. But because you're mine, I do. Also, I absolutely love the material that she used because this boyo is super plush and super soft. Some would say almost huggable. Though I did test his jaws, Landon, he will still very much bite, like 1.0 did. In fact, he may even have a stronger bite force than the first one. Yeah. And one of the big details that I also decided against, and it was mostly because I foresaw that creating a larger problem in the future, I did decide against him having his little mustache and beard, as unfortunately with the way that that was secured, I foresaw extended use in like heat and whatnot. I would very much see that that would eventually cause me to lose the goateed Fu Manchu that old 1.0 was rocking. Since they were essentially just She had never done anything like that with that we had done with 1.0. So it was literally just she burnt holes into the mask itself and then secured it with the twisted knot and hot glue. So eventually that would be a part that would fail and or pop out if anything else would cause issues. It would have been that. And well, we decided against it for this go round as I didn't see, well, one, Alden, any of the artwork that has been done for him does not have that, including the ref sheet. But I thought it was a fun little touch to try to give the original head a bit more personality to it. Okay, let's see here. Sit right there for a second, buddy, while I swap my headset out. Come on. Charger. There it goes. Alright, so can y'all still hear me? Did that transfer cleanly or did that not transfer cleanly? Okay. Because I know this headset is getting a little worn, so it very well might not transfer as cleanly as it used to. Alright, but I know I'm holding your ear in a weird angle. I'm sorry. Promise you it's for a good cause, though. It won't last for too much longer. I'm also just trying to balance you on my knee in a weird way, too, so bear with me, buddy. There we go. Not paint your fur too much if we can help it. As I think your coat looks perfect as it is. Okay. just a nice little bit to make it pop and make you stand out a little bit more. Though with my weirdly intro extroverted personality, I think you'll stand out just fine. Okay, let's see. Balance you on the knee a bit better. This way I can actively get into the spot that I'm after. But lift you up here. Thankfully, with the red, it looks like I only need to do the one pass with it. Because that is going on very well. Okay. Yeah, I hear you. You're old and you're still kicking. No reason to make it my problem. As long as you continue to work. Go. Alright. Let's flip you over and check. A little more to go, friend. I know it's in a weird spot that nobody else would ever really be able to see, but I would know. And that's good enough. Okay. Let's see here. Alright. What do we think? Let's get your jewels back where they need to be. Alright, what do we think here? That make it look a little bit more noticeable. And the fact that he actually has the horns. I know that red doesn't seem to really pop on camera very well, but in person it is a little bit more striking than you'd think. But alright, the Scully Boy is done. So, alright, let's have some fun with it, shall we? Alright. I'm sure this sounds incredibly weird from in here. But, yeah. Still have really good field of vision. And, mouth movement seems really good. Oh, really? It does? I'll be damned. Now, I may want to try to find a way to shorten the chain. I know I can pull my Mitama up some, but I may need to try and find a way to shorten the chain on the pendulum a little bit. That way it doesn't drive me absolutely insane clacking against everything at the fair. But hey, I will happily take that it sounded pretty well inside the mask. I was wholeheartedly expecting that to not sound all that great. Okay, let's see. Let's see if we can adjust your Mitama. That actually will just make the Mitama longer. The face reveal. Yes, bask in terror at the flesh reveal. I have been known to have that effect on people. Okay, come on now. How can I shorten you? Oh, yeah, since I was expecting to have to maybe get a new another microphone, but if it sounds good running off of the Bluetooth, then yeah, 100% fursuit streams, which may or may not be on the idea docket. Okay, let's see. I mean, I guess I could just put you on a different ring, but I like the Mitama being where it's at. So let's just do a little bit of engineering. Once more. Free. Okay. Mitama is now a bit more secure and stationary. As that will keep you from clacking against everything unnecessarily. Now, your crystal pendulum. How are we going to secure you a bit better so that you're also not bouncing around unnecessarily? Because I actually can just do this. I do want the Mitama and your pendulum to be nice little focal points. This would be so much easier if I didn't have nerve damage in the fingers. There we go. Alright. There we are. Alright. They still shake around a good bit, but they do so in a way that's not going to clack against the mask itself and cause a lot of unnecessary noise on the inside. Because that's exactly what they do. But yeah, Ald 2.0 is now ready for the Ren Fair. And I love it. Again, Muna, I doubt that you would ever see this, but if you do, you did a absolutely fantastic job. Thank you so much for bringing my happy, goofy little boy to life. A set. Thank you again for the absolute wonderful work that you did for his design, as I'm now going to get to terrorize the locals as the cryptid. So let's set you over here, because I think you turned out wonderful for your little gentle TLC update. All right. Ah. Oh. Okay. Now, with that wonderfully clears one of the biggest things that has been kind of weighing on me for a while off of my plate with getting that wreath done tonight. And honestly, I'm surprised that Old's TLC didn't take me that long. I was kind of expecting that to be a little bit more in depth. So, I guess while we sit here and wait, a set, we're going to do one of my old dice towers that I bought at the first anime convention that I went to. That just so happens to be a plague doctor. So once glued down to his face here, so I can get his points of contact lined up. There we go. That's right. He seven, not terrible. Not great, but but yes, it's a he is a full-fledged dice tower that I bought at the first anime convention I went to a few years back. And he has been waiting just as patiently as everything else to get painted up. So I figure we've got about 30-ish minutes left of stream. Let's give him a run. And we'll just start with him to start clearing out the rest of my pile of shame. All right, Aset. I thank you very much. 100% he was worth the wait, and I hope you get you some good rest and get you some good sleep. I very much look forward to showcasing the pictures and everything that I will be taking at the fair, because there is going to be plenty. But you go ahead and get you some good rest, get you some good sleep. Remember, I will not be streaming on Friday, but I will be coming back on Monday, and we will make the absolute best of it. I will share as many of the hilarity and shenanigans that happened at the fair. But you get you some good rest, Aset, and we will talk to you soon. Oh, we're going to have an absolute blast, don't you worry. But get some good rest, Aset, and we'll talk to you soon. Alright, we're going to start with small details. silver, pale yellow, black, that's not it, a little bit of gold. That brush has had it, so we will use this one. But yeah, no, I bought this as soon as I saw it, and I bought a dice jail that looks like essentially looks like well, it's really a dice vault, but I use it as a dice jail, and it's over there it's in another room with all of my other D&D stuff. I think I actually packed it in what I have deemed my war chest now. But I bought this and that at the same convention, and I was just like, I would love to get this guy painted up because they had so many really, really dope versions of it that they had printed a bunch of, and then they were selling some of them as painted, and others they were selling as just the base. And I was like, well, I've got to get the unpainted one because, I paint all of my stuff, and I would love to, just throw down and see how crazy I can make it. And then the more I thought about it, I'm like, well, I'm just going to do it up like a good old regular Plague Doctor. I don't know why I didn't just buy one of the ones that was already painted. And then I remembered, I was like, oh yeah, they were like $20 more if they were painted. And I didn't have a whole lot of cash on me when I went, so I was like, okay, yeah, we'll just go and paint him up at one point or another. So he has been sitting on a shelf for several years just waiting to get painted, and I've just never gotten around to doing it. So we're using these fun little segments to, clear our pile of shame here, as I have let too many projects sit on my desk or sit in their boxes that I got them in. Just, oh yeah, I'll get the chance to paint them. Still sitting here waiting. So we'll at least clear this, and then we can move on into some of our other ones, because thankfully not too many of them that I have here are incredibly old. Most of them are within the last year or two. So that's not terrible. But I did hear that fun little announcement at the end of your stream there, Landon. I am excited to see how that raffle winds up going, as I honestly cannot wait to see all the hard work that you've been putting into this come to full fruition. I think you're absolutely going to knock it out of the park. Because I know you've got good group of people helping you, as well as I know you were a fantastic storyteller yourself, that this is just going to be an absolute wonderful event one way or the other. Oh, and stage, tiny. Lower that down. Yeah. Hey, all good things come to those who wait. And I mean, given how things have gone over the past year, I mean, you're cranking out the ideas as best you can as they're coming to you, and as you're able to do them. As no one's going to sit here and hold it against you that you've got other responsibilities that are preventing you from just diving in and doing everything all at once. And also, if you want my honest opinion, the fact that you've sat back and thought about it, and you've sat back and written, taken breaks, and then come back and written more, usually those wind up going by a whole lot better. I mean, yes, but the fact of the matter is you've taken the time to actually do that. You've taken the time to sit down and plan it out. To think about the side stuff. To think about, the writing and how it needs to be written down. So that not just you know what the hell is going on, but also how you can take what you've written down to articulate it to the other people that are going to be sitting at the proverbial table. And yet, no, always remember, the biggest issue in D&D is scheduling. And planning to schedule. So, yes, I'm sure that this is going to be a absolutely phenomenal and fun and wild ride. But at the same time, you sat back and you've actually given it the chance to breathe and the chance to grow naturally as you've written it. And like I said, almost always those turn out to be 10 times better than, say me sitting down or any of my friends who have done this for years, just winging it by the seat of their pants. 100%. That is the DM's favored enemy right there. Like, I have sat back and I have created a world, I have created characters to populate said world. It literally is the hilarious meme of a stack about yay big of the lore my players interact with versus the book of lore that I have written and created for my players to interact with. Well, I mean, that's the thing though, Landon. It can start off as a one shot. Hilariously, the entirety of both of my campaigns that I wound up running and have been running, ironically started off as just singular one shots. Now, I've been on hiatus for about a year from running these campaigns, but up until that point, we were running strong for almost a year on our own for two separate campaigns that were taking place at the same time of each other with wildly different characters. And now that, the house and everything is starting to slowly come together, I'll be able to start those back up. But yeah, no, they originally started as just individual one-shots. Because I had a bunch of friends who were brand new to D&D, and they were like, well, you know how to DM, why don't you DM a game for us? I was like, okay, yeah, I can do that. Give you guys a little bit of, experience, and then you'll actually know how to play, and congratulations, you can go and meet with other people if that's what you want to do, and if not, hey, I can either figure a way out how to run a campaign for you, or if you have fun, we'll just keep it going. And, well, we kept it going. I traumatized the shit out of them, but they apparently still very much wanted to keep going, so I didn't tell them no. So don't sit here and think that it's completely unnecessary, because it very well could become necessary later down the line. You may sit here and be like, oh, well, this one shot that I've done, I actually really enjoy all the lore and everything that I sat back and researched and prepped for it. Why don't I just make this into my own little setting, and now you can run a full D&D game later? It all just depends on what you want to do. No, I agree. And I'm not saying that, you immediately take what I'm saying and turn it into a full-fledged story. But, I mean, you now have the groundwork, is what I'm saying. If you ever get to the point where you do have a bit more time on your hands, don't sit here and say that, well, hey, just because you've never played doesn't mean you're going to make a bad DM. In fact, a lot of the guys I actually used to play with started off DMing. Because it gave them a better concept of the rules. But hey, if this goes well, there are some things that I think you're gonna do perfect, Landon. Because remember, it's not necessarily about whether or not you quote unquote do good at rule lawyering or anything like that. The best part about D&D is sitting at a table, whether it be virtual or real, with your friends laughing and having a good time. That is always the most important part of D&D. is collaboratively telling a story with your goofy friends who made goofy characters while you sit here and have a blast rolling dice with them and letting fate decide how the story even progresses. And with the amount of work that I know you put into this, and the amount of work that I know you've got in terms of the people who have been helping you get it set up, you're going to do wonderfully. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind. And also, don't ever feel afraid to, be like, oh, well, I don't necessarily know this, and if you don't want to consult the rule book, you're the DM. You are literally the god of the game. Yes or no? Utter chaos is what I specialize in. I'm very sure my buddy, the buddy of mine who does makes the mead, he is my DM. I'm sure if you ever reached out to him to ask him what it's like DMing for me at the table, he would tell you I'm probably a wonderful headache for him. Because yeah, I am 100% just the wondrous chaos gremlin at all times. But there's nothing wrong with that. Because everybody gets to, as long as I'm not stealing the spotlight from my friends, my chaos can be as wild or as subtle as it needs to be. Because I understand even when it's, quote unquote, my arc for my character, I understand very simply I am not the main character. And the idea that I am not the main character but a supporting character means that everybody gets to have fun. And everybody gets to see, or everyone gets their turn to be the target of my chaos. I cannot wait. I'm honestly very much looking forward to it one way or the other. Because whether I'm an NPC hanging out on the sidelines causing chaos there, or if I'm a player just causing an untold amount of headache and chaos to everybody around me, we're gonna have a fucking blast with it. Now, let me go ahead and swap us back over to the PC real quick, and we'll go from there.
Alright, there we go. Let's see here. Alright. I do very much want to thank all of you for hanging out with me tonight. As even though we did have that weird little hiccup there in the beginning, I am just very, very happy with the amount of progress that we made tonight. because holy shit. We've not only finished our long-standing project of the wreath, but we were able to work on our fucking awesome as hell new head and get it completely taken care of. But we were also able to start on one of our other long-standing projects that we've left behind. So yeah, wonderful amount of work taken care of tonight. And like I said, I had, before stream had started, I actually went outside and used the clear coat on both of those dragon pieces as well, which I will do the same tomorrow once I get home from work on that wreath. That way it will at least hopefully protect the paint that's on it for a good little while. If not, I do also have some spray enamel. I may do that on the wreath, as that would probably be a little bit better. Some clear gloss spray enamel that might hold that for a good bit longer. But yeah, I mean, I'm very happy with the amount of progress we got done. So tomorrow, after I get home from work, it's just going to be packing up for the Ren Fair and getting myself taken care of and ready for it, because, oh boy, we're going to have a blast. But like I said, I will definitely be posting pictures in the server. You will be, those of you who I know well will definitely be getting a bunch of DMs from me. It'll be after the fair, so it may be Sunday that I'll come back to life to send all of this off, because I'm sure, because it's going to be an early start for us on Saturday, and from there it's going to be an all-day affair, because it's local to the point where it's like an hour and a half, an hour and 45-minute drive from me, and then we're going to be there all day, and then it'll be about a 2-hour drive back. So yeah, it's going to be, it is going to be a fun, long-winded run for the adventure. And I'm going to have the gremlins in tow, and they're already hyper excited. They've never been, so this is also another win in the dad bucket. That we get to, you know, let them experience this for the first time. And we're just going to have an absolute blast. But I do thank you guys for hanging out with me. There are some big things in the work that are coming probably around the summertime. I'm going to keep dropping little hints and things about that. But we are planning something big to kind of incorporate our affiliate anniversary, as well as a few other things. But we'll get to that as time comes. But you all have a wonderful evening, afternoon, morning, or night, however it winds up finding you. And we will talk at you all either in the server, in other friends' streams, or we will catch you all on the next stream, which again will be on Monday, as Friday I will not be streaming. But you all have a wonderful evening, and we will catch you again next time. Vav Veil, everyone.